Mike Tirico, he does everything, and he's at the Open Championship in Royal Birkdale. Have you played Royal Birkdale, Mike?
I have not played Birkdale. I've played 5, 6 of the courses on the Rota, but not Birkdale.
Are you allowed to play?
Am I allowed to play? I'm sure if I really asked, I could get out to play on Monday.
Yeah.
They usually have hospitality or TV folk or others, but I want to get back home. But
Well,
yeah, I'd like to play here at some point. At some point, I'd like to take that quintessential Scottish and English and Irish golf trip. I've done so many opens, and I've never really done that trip where you go 3, 4 days and play and do those. So I'd like to at some point.
this is the 28th Open Championship that you've worked?
That is correct. I am old.
Wow. Wow.
I'm old. I'm old. Yeah.
Do you remember? You may not remember this. I was ready to do Sports Center late at night. It was like 10:45, and I'm
Okay.
walking over to do Sports Center,
Hmm.
and ESPN hadn't announced who was going to do golf, and I had been mentioned to do golf, and you, so I didn't know anything about it. And I remember I'm walking over to do Sports Center, and one of the bosses says to me, hey, come here, come here, come here. Because USA Today was going to break the news that you were going to do golf. So I'm getting ready to do an hour-long live Sports Center, and management goes, come here, come here, come here. I go, what? What? And I go, you're not going to get the golf. They're going to give it to Mike Tirico. I said, couldn't this wait? I'm going to go do a Sports Center. So I'm doing the entire Sports Center thinking about, well, I didn't want the golf, but I would have loved to have the golf. And I'm like, well, now I'm mad that I'm not getting it. Where before I was like, hey, that'll be great. Mike will do a great job. And I don't know if you ever heard that story.
I think I have. I think you've told it to me at one point, but I'm glad that you've let it go. So that's at least makes me feel
I could be
not
there
embarrassed.
and you could be interviewing me there, Mike.
You could be Fritzy. Whole question, Fritzy. Um, you know what? It changed my career trajectory and changed my life. And what I didn't know was what a risk it was, because I didn't realize or know how demanding the golf viewers are. While smaller in numbers than the other sports, right? Just look at the ratings. The golf viewer really has the mentality of being a member at a golf club where you speak up, you say what's on your mind. Hey, I want this. Can we get this in the grill room? Can we do this to the golf course? And the golf viewer is very particular and very loud and very vocal about what they want on their broadcast. And I didn't realize that it could have been career ending in terms of that role of doing play by play or having a lead job on other sports. So I'm glad it worked out. I was surrounded by Curtis Strange and Judy Rankin and Steve Melnick and the late Bob Rosberg and a bunch of great people. Jack Graham was our producer. Jim Jeanette was our director. They're all pros, and they all covered my butt until I figured out what I was doing. I'm very thankful for that.
Give me the ratio of calling a live shot to something that's on tape and then sounding like you're seeing it for the first time, even though it's on tape.
So it's interesting because I've worked now in all the systems that there are. So I covered Masters at ESPN, that's CBS's production. ABC and ESPN did our own production. And now it's 10 years for me with NBC. And philosophically, it's a little different. On NBC, you will not hear the on-course reporter unless it's a live shot. And that's just the philosophy of Tommy Roy, who's a Hall of Fame producer. CBS's philosophy is different. ABC's was somewhat in between. And what you have to remember is every other sport, there's one ball and no more than 120 yards. In golf, like on a Thursday, Friday, I'm going to go sit I'm not on the air today. I'm going to go sit in the control room for an hour today just to watch, just to get myself reacquainted with how difficult it is. There could be 30, 35 balls moving. You have half the field on the golf course at any time. So there are about 80 players out there. So you've got 80 players and 30 balls moving at once. You have to make choices. So you do one of two things. You either continue the movie along and don't let people in, or you say, this is live, and people should be smart enough to understand you can't show every shot live. As you say, this is earlier, you got to make a decision. Rory drives the ball great. Do you want to watch Rory hit a drive on 7? Yeah, I do. Of course I do. Well, do you want to see Scottie Scheffler's putt for birdie? Yeah, I want to see that. Well, they're happening at the same time. What do you do? And there's 4, 5, 6 hours of those decisions that have to be made. And it's a venture that costs money because the RNA, the USGA, the PGA Tour, it's a rights fee. And it's a lot to take 100 people overseas to pay them. So you got to have commercials. So you factor all that in. I think it's the hardest sport to do on TV. And I'm going to go sit inside and watch the sausage get made for an hour just to remind me how difficult it is to do that.
Mike Tirico joining us from Royal Birkdale. Has Scottie Scheffler come back to earth?
Oh, he's played really, really well. I mean, he just hasn't won. And there are years like that for players. I'd say other guys are having good years, like Matthew Fitzpatrick's having a good year. Chris Gotterup's having a good year. Rory, not in volume, but in quality. Every time he plays, he seems to be in the mix. Scottie had a good day one today, which has been what has held him back a little bit this year in terms of wins. I think his year has been really good. It just hasn't been incredible. And when you're spoiled by best on the tour, second best on the tour, a notch down, is eye-opening. His stats are still really good, but one thing he hasn't done is hit the ball as close to the hole as he has the last 3 years. If you look at the stat that is proximity to the hole, he was best on tour in that number in all of these 3 years where he's been terrific. Not the best this year, still really good, but not the best. And that's why instead of winning 4 or 5, he's won 1. With a good first round today, wouldn't put it past him to be in position to win here and take the claret jug back home again.
What if the majority of the tour venues were like Royal Birkdale? And then,
it would be,
and then all of a sudden they played, like a PGA North or, West or, whatever.
Right.
But because we look at this, now I love it for 1 week.
Yes.
I don't know if I could have a steady diet of playing it, but I enjoy watching it.
I love watching it. Unfortunately, we're not going to get rain and wind. And it's the only time you say that you want rain and wind because it just adds to. I actually came over without a big old rain suit for the first time, truly, in 28 years. The first time I haven't come over with like 2 rain suits for the week and a pair of shoes that I've left, I think, 4 or 5 pairs of shoes in this country because you're just not bringing them back home. They're ruined. It would be fascinating. I wish we could see 2 things in golf. I wish we could see more links golf like this. And I wish we could see more match play golf because I think match play is so much fun. I think a lot of people who play golf consistently at a club play match play against their friends. And I'd love to see the best in the world. Match play doesn't really work for TV very well. They're going to try it again in the new iteration of the tour. But I would love to see just a little more of this where you really have to think your way around the golf course. Now, it's interesting to watch today's talent and today's approach play a century-old course. This is just under a century. But Bryson DeChambeau is trying to take driver and hit it over stuff. And wherever it ends up, I'll hit a pitch and try to make a putt. It's a little bit harder to do on these courses because of the bunkering. But when he does it, it's pretty cool to watch. So it's a great mental test this week of choices off the tee. How aggressive do I want to be? And can I really get myself out of that trouble around the green?
Yeah, I go back. Wasn't it Tiger at St. Andrews didn't put the ball in a bunker for 4 rounds, which is, I'd say it's impossible, but he did it. But if I didn't see it, I'd say it's impossible.
And he also, I'm sorry, Dan, another one of the Opens that he won, and it was hot and fast, and the fairways were brown, not green, like this year. He only hit 1 driver the whole week.
Yeah.
Right. So Tiger always had that 15th club in his bag, his mind. That was a difference maker. And I think the guy who comes to this event with my game plan, I'm not going to be stuck to it. I will adjust depending on the conditions. Those are the guys who usually win here. It's not always he's the best, strongest player. He's the guy who hits it the farthest. It's the mental game here because all the trouble you have to avoid.
And I'm looking at the last 8 winners of the Open Championship. By the way, when did we kick British? When did we kick British Open to the curb? Now,
When people ask me how long have you been doing this event, I said, well, I did it when it was the British Open. I've done it when it's the Open Championship. Now I'm doing it when it's the Open. And the great line that somebody else had, I forget who it was, so I can't give him credit. If I'm here long enough, we'll just call it the and be done with that, right? Um, so it was British until like the early 2000s. Then it was the Open Championship, and it's been the Open for the last 8 or 9, I think.
okay. But I'm looking at the last 8
Yeah.
winners. Scottie Scheffler, Xander, Brian Harmon, Cam Smith, Colin Morikawa, Shane Lowry, Francesco Marinare, and Jordan
Yep.
Spieth. These aren't bombers.
No, correct. Exactly. Then that goes back to that point. Most of these golf courses have been around for a century and a half. You can only lengthen them so much. And every time you lengthen them, you want to keep those bunkers in play. And those key bunkers are what matters. And the strategy of this event with the wind and the rain, those are the two things that end up making this event unique and special and kind of fun. I mean, they've been playing this 154 times over 160 years if you take the stretches out with the war. And a lot of these golf courses have been around for a good part of that. That's why I think there's a different connection with the game. And it's fun to be able look, we love when quarterbacks go up and down the field and it's 42-40, right? We also love when it's a truly great defensive battle. Like different styles keep variety and enjoyment in the game. And this variety, probably more than any other, makes people say, man, I'd love to try to play like that once, where you can hit a 4-iron, it can roll. You're going to see balls roll 50 yards. I watched somebody putt from 35 yards off the green today. Like that's just part of what you've got choices. And can you take your choices and your talents and marry them? That's what makes this one. I love this event. I've loved it since I've covered it. And I get so excited to get on the plane and come back every year because you see really cool stuff here.
If I said that of all the places that have held the Open Championship, you had to live part-time in those towns, those cities, where would you pick and say that's where I could live for 3 months out of the year?
Portrush, Northern Ireland.
Oh.
Yeah, though the golf course is right next to Bushmills. You want to start there? So that's the town I enjoy. But if you told me 3 months, St. Andrews. St. Andrews is, as you know, the town's great.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go there on a Sunday afternoon, people are walking their dogs down the 18th fairway. Like one of the most famous places in the sport, 1 and 18. The game started right over in that corner, right when you're walking down there. But you're walking through the town with people. It's got a great university, one of the best universities in the UK is St. Andrews. You can walk through the cemetery, if those like to walk through cemeteries, and old Tom Morris is buried at the cemetery in town. It just has so much history and feel in addition to the really cool restaurants. So that would be the one place for 3 months. But if you told me that we get to hang for a few weeks and go on a guy's trip, Portrush is a pretty darn cool place.
I know you probably didn't think you'd be asked this, but I'm going to ask this. Last night with the ESPYs, the team of the year was the Knicks. Okay. Now, Indiana football, USA hockey.
Yeah,
okay.
USA hockey.
Okay.
Either.
But like Indiana football, did you ever think in your lifetime, Mike, Indiana football would win a national title?
Well, college sports is so screwed up right now, and I won't get started on it because it's a passion point for me. But how screwed up is college sports? Michigan is the basketball champion and Indiana is the football champion, right? And 20 years ago, if you told me the reverse, you'd say, yeah, of course they are. No, but that's how screwed up things are. Yeah, that Indiana, that was a special thing. It's the New York factor. I mean, I grew up there. I love the city, but if it happens in New York, Northeast media elevates New York in a different capacity. So I was on the plane coming over here. And I saw the ESPYs were last night. And it made me think about the first ESPYs. Were you at the first ESPYs or were you in the newsroom?
No, I was there.
You were there.
Yeah.
So the group of us that were in the newsroom, the forgotten, the unwanted, the unwashed, that was one of the funniest nights of the year because the show was a bit on tape delay. So we're watching it come down live and we're all sitting there going, well, we are the B team. All of us sitting, we are the uninvited. But in all seriousness, like hat tip to ESPN for what the event has become.
Yeah.
And what it still means for the V Foundation. Like that is that is one of the coolest things ESPN's ever done. Forget Sports Center and all these sports and apps and all that. Like ESPN's and George Bodenheimer, the president of ESPN for a long time, is a huge reason behind that. The connection of the V Foundation and ESPN and the ESPYs is one of the things that is just this kind of gives me a great feeling inside to know that we saw it, we were part of it for a little bit, but we were the unwanted and the unwashed, while you guys, the big time people, were there.
Yeah, we were
for the first one. Yeah.
I didn't want to go to the ESPYs.
You didn't?
No, I thought it was going to be a disaster.
Well, it had the potential to be, right? Because that's a very different lane for a cable sports network that was not a behemoth as it's become.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And so credit to them for doing all that. Would you have rather been doing the 2 a.m. with me and Myers that night? Hi, and how are you? Glad you could make it for the show.
Hi, hello, and how are you? Yeah, but I'm glad I was there because I was there, and there was a lot of things that happened behind the scenes and how they got athletes to show up, and greatest night in sports, Mike.
For some, yes.
Just ask ESPN. Like CNN, we're the world's most important network. That was their thing. That was
the best.
I know. I'm like, damn, how did you win that? We didn't. We just named ourselves. When ESPN goes, we got the greatest night in sports. What is it? The ESPYs. I go, what? Okay.
That was James Earl Jones who did that, right, on CNN?
This is CNN.
Well, I always love radio shows when people say, we've got a great hour coming up for you. Well, do you know that? Is it all on tape? Do you know it's great? What if the guest stinks, right? Like this hour. You could have said this is the greatest hour. I come on, and it's been terrible.
Well, you stole a job from me. But that's okay. Look at what it did for your career, and I'm stuck here doing this, Mike. Congratulations.
You know, I'll bring you back a tea from the open day.
Whoa, that'd be great.
Bring you back a tea.
That would be great. Thank you.
Good to do.
We'll be watching this weekend. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, buddy. See you, pal. Have a great week.
That's Mike Tirico.